You're too boring for me to raise. My mother sneered, then dumped me at Grandma's village without warning. I waited on the porch for days. No calls. No visits. 15 years later, my phone exploded with 62 missed calls. She's begging me to come home. She slammed the car door and peeled off so fast the dust swallowed me before I could breathe. I was 5. No coat. No bag. Just a stuffed rabbit and a pair of light-up sneakers already scuffed at the toes. I stood on the porch of my grandmother's rotting farmhouse, gripping the porch rail so tight my knuckles cracked. She hadn't come out. The curtains didn't move. The windows stared dead and gray. Before she left, my mother leaned down so close I could smell the wine on her breath and spat. You're too boring for me to raise. No tears. No hugs. Not even anger. Just that cold, sharp sentence. And then she was gone. For the first 2 days, I waited on that porch. Didn't know how to knock. Didn't know how to leave. I was sure she'd come back. The porch would dug splinters into my legs where I sat. The rabbit's ears turned black with grime. No calls. No visits. I started knocking on the door when it got too dark to see my hands. The knocking turned to pounding. The pounding turned to screaming. The third morning, the door creaked open. Grandma stood there in a housecoat, gray hair matted in greasy tangles, eyes blank. No words. Just grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise, dragged me inside, shoved me toward a moth-eaten couch. If you're gonna sit, be still, she said, voice like broken glass. I didn't speak for a year. 15 years. 15 years of that house. No school. No toys. No friends. Grandma fed me scraps when she remembered. Sometimes days passed with nothing but tap water and stale crackers. I learned not to ask for more. Asking meant the back of her hand. Or worse, she'd lock me in the root cellar. No lights. Just dirt and rats. She never once called me by name. Thing. That's what she called me. Thing, fetch wood. Thing, empty the piss bucket. Thing, stay out of sight when the social worker comes. I never knew why no one came. Maybe they didn't care. Maybe they never looked. Some nights she'd fall asleep drunk with the TV blaring. That's how I learned about the outside world, cartoons flickering between static, muffled voices of sitcoms. I copied the characters just to hear myself speak. By 12, I taught myself to read from old magazines stuffed in the attic. Pages sticky with mildew. Headlines from decades ago. I read them until the words swam. By 14, I started planning. Stealing change from her purse. Caching food. Figuring out where the road led if I ever got brave enough to walk it. But the fear, it never left. What if my mother was still out there? What if she sent me back if I ran? Then the heart attack came. Grandma slumped over her chair one August morning, face purple, eyes wide. I didn't call anyone. Didn't know how. She sat there 3 days before the mailman noticed the smell and called the sheriff. When they found me, I weighed 70 pounds. Malnourished. Filthy. Barely spoke. Just clutched that same stuffed rabbit, the ears long since torn off. Foster care was a blur. Half a dozen homes in 2 years. Some kind. Some cruel. None permanent. But one thing stayed with me. I never told anyone about my mother. I lied. Said I was an orphan. It felt safer that way. At 18, I vanished. Worked dead-end jobs. Slept in my car. $8 store noodles. Then I caught a break janitor gig at a tech firm. Night shifts. No people. Just me and the machines. I saved every cent. Got my GED. Took online courses. Slowly, painfully, I clawed up. 25 now. Own a small apartment. Have a stable job in IT. I even smile sometimes, though it feels foreign. I never looked for her. Until yesterday. My phone blew up mid-meeting. 62 missed calls. Unknown number. I checked the voicemail. It was her. Her voice. Older. Worn. Shaky. Please call me back. I need you. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please come home. I need you now. She sounded broken. Terrified. Another message. They're coming for me. I have no one else. Please. And a text, blurry photo of a hospital wristband. Her name. The same name burned into my brain since that day on the porch. I didn't reply. I sat there staring at the screen, hands ice cold. For 15 years, not a word. And now? Now she's begging. But I'm not that scared 5-year-old anymore. Epilogue soon. I haven't decided if I'll call back. But if I do, it won't be for her. It'll be to watch her beg in person. Because some mistakes? You don't come back from. Update 1. I didn't sleep. After that string of voicemails and texts, my brain wouldn't shut off. I sat in the dark until sunrise, staring at the phone on the coffee table like it might bite. Part of me wanted to throw it out the window. Part of me wanted to answer. And part of me, the coldest part, wanted to drive to whatever hospital she was in, sit by the bed, and watch her face when she saw me standing there. The boy she called too boring to raise. The boy she left on a porch like trash. I didn't decide anything that night. Just watched the sun crawl up through the blinds. When I finally opened my messages, it got worse. She'd sent more photos. Close-ups of N4 in her arm. Monitors. A hospital ID band. One shot of her face, drawn, pale, eyes sunken. And then this text. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But please come. I'm so scared. They said I might not have much time. Please, baby? Please. Baby. First time she'd called me that. Last time she called me anything, it was thing. I didn't answer, but I wanted to know more. I still had the old prepaid phone Morris gave me back when I first ran. Same burner email we used to communicate during the foster years. I logged in, half expecting cobwebs. And there it was. A message from Morris, timestamped 2 weeks ago. Subject, you need to see this. Body. She's sick. It's bad. Stage 4. Liver's shot. I didn't know how to tell you. She's been trying to track you for months. Used a private investigator. That's how she got your number. You don't owe her a damn thing. But I thought you should know. Stay safe. If she shows up, call me first. A private investigator. Of course. Because God forbid she put in that kind of effort when I was 5, alone, freezing on a porch. I took the day off work. Told my manager I was sick. Sat in the apartment pacing holes in the floor. By noon I cracked. Drove. Didn't text her. Didn't call. Just drove. 2 towns over, big hospital, one of those sprawling maze-like complexes. Took me 15 minutes to find the damn building. Walked in. Asked for her. The nurse didn't blink. Just pointed upstairs. Room 547. I climbed the stairs. My legs felt heavy. Like I was dragging chains. The hallway outside her room smelled like antiseptic and wilted flowers. I stopped at the door. Could hear her breathing, raspy, labored. Could hear the TV droning some soap opera rerun. Then her voice, barely above a whisper. Is that you? Please come in. I almost turned around. Almost bolted. But something, anger, curiosity, hate, made me open that door. She looked old. Not just sick. Wrecked. Like life had chewed her up and spat her out. Gray hair limp around her face. Skin yellowed and paper thin. Eyes bloodshot. She gasped when she saw me. Oh my God, it's really you. She reached for my hand. I didn't move. Just stood there. The first 5 minutes were babbling. I was so wrong. I was stupid. I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was doing the right thing. Please, baby, please sit down. I didn't. She tried again. I looked for you. For years. You have to believe me. Your grandmother, she lied to me. She told me you'd run away. I didn't know. I swear. I laughed. Sharp. Bitter. You dumped me on her porch and drove off. You know what happened. Her mouth trembled. She looked down. Didn't deny it. Just whispered I wasn't well. I had problems back then. Drinking. Depression. Bad men. I didn't know how to be a mother. I was scared. I stood there, arms crossed. No sympathy. No tears. Finally asked, why now? And that's when the truth came out. It wasn't just cancer. She was broke. Flat broke. The private investigator? Paid for by her new boyfriend, some low-rent grifter who bailed as soon as the diagnosis hit. Her house? Gone. Foreclosed last month. Insurance? Lapsed. No family left. No friends. And here's the kicker. I need a medical proxy, she said, voice trembling. Someone to make decisions if I can't. The social worker said they can't release me without one. I have no one else. That's why she called. Not out of love. Not out of regret. She needed a signature. A body. Someone to sit by the bed and pretend she hadn't thrown me away like garbage. I didn't say yes. Didn't say no. Just stood up. Looked her dead in the eye. You said I was too boring to raise, I said. But I'm interesting enough to save your ass now, huh? She burst into tears. I walked out. It didn't end there. Oh no. When I got back to the car, I had 6 more texts. From a number I didn't recognize. Then a voicemail. This is Anna, your mother's case manager. She informed us you're her next of kin. We need to discuss her care plan. Please call us back immediately. She listed me. Without consent. Without asking. Told them I was her son, her proxy, her only family. And now? Now I'm caught in it. I spent the rest of the day talking to Morris. He's furious. Don't do a damn thing, he said. She's setting you up. If you sign anything, you're on the hook. Financially. Legally. Don't trust her. He's right. But here's the thing. She made a mistake. A big one. In trying to use me, she's given me something I never had. Leverage. I called a lawyer. Zoe, friend of a friend, sharp as hell. Explained everything. She laughed. She wants to play family now? Fine. We'll play. But on your terms. Tomorrow we meet. Zoe. Me. The case manager. And her. I'm not doing this to save her. I'm not doing this to forgive her. I'm doing this to watch her squirm. Because 15 years ago she left me on a porch like I was nothing. Yeah? She's the one begging. And this time. I'm not the one waiting. Update 2. I barely slept before the meeting. Not from nerves, those were long gone. It was something colder. A buzz under my skin. Like my body knew this was a turning point. That whatever happened in that hospital conference room would not end with a handshake. It would end with a reckoning. Zoe picked me up at 9 sharp. I've known her a few months now, friend of a coworker, sharp as a scalpel. Corporate attorney. Cold when she needs to be. I told her the whole story last night. Every rotten inch of it. She didn't flinch. She wants you to play son for the paperwork, not for love, Zoe said. We'll flip that. Hospital conference room, 10th floor. Cold. Sterile. Windowless. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. We got there early. I wore black slacks, crisp button down. No hoodie. No sneakers. No trace of that porch-sitting, splinter-covered boy. Zoe? Full professional mode, navy suit, leather briefcase, calm smile. The case manager arrived first. Anna, mid-30s, tired eyes, sympathetic but firm. "I'm so glad you came," she said, shaking my hand. "Your mother's been very anxious to see you again. She told us you two were very close once." I nearly laughed. Instead, I said, "That's one version." Anna blinked, but didn't press. Then they wheeled her in. She looked worse than yesterday. Gray pallor. Trembling hands. Thin hospital gown hanging off her like a scarecrow. But her eyes, those same cold eyes I remembered from the porch, lit up when she saw me. "Baby, you came." I didn't answer. Just sat. Zoe beside me. Recorder running. Anna started the meeting. "We're here to discuss next steps for your mother's care. Given her lack of other family, she's requested you be designated as her medical proxy. That would give you authority over treatment decisions if she becomes unable to consent." I let the words hang. Then Zoe spoke. "Before we proceed, we'd like to clarify a few points for the record." She slid a folder across the table. Inside? A notarized affidavit. A timeline of abandonment. Photos of the farmhouse. Police reports from my disappearance. Witness statements from Morris. Medical records showing my malnutrition when I was found. A whole damn paper trail. Anna's face drained of color as she skimmed it. "My mother's? Stone. That was years ago," she whispered. "I've changed. I was sick. I didn't know better." Zoe didn't blink. "Legally, your son owes you nothing," she said flatly. "No duty of care. No financial obligation. No moral debt." Anna looked shaken. I wasn't aware of any of this," she said. "You are now," Zoe replied. My mother's hands gripped the chair arms so tight her knuckles turned bone white. "I just want my son to forgive me," she choked. "I just want my family back." And that's when I spoke. "You didn't want a son," I said, voice low. "You wanted a signature. A pawn. Someone to clean up your mess." "That's not true." "It is," I snapped. "You called me too boring to raise. You left me to rot. And now, 15 years later, I'm supposed to believe this is about love." Anna shifted uncomfortably. "If you're uncomfortable proceeding, we can appoint an outside guardian," she offered. That's when my mother panicked. Full meltdown. "And oh," she screamed, voice cracking. "I need him. He's my son. He has to help me." She lunged forward, grabbing my wrist with icy fingers. "Please. Please. Don't leave me again." Security was called. They wheeled her out kicking and sobbing, veins bulging in her neck, screams echoing down the hall. "You owe me. You owe me. You owe me." I sat there, heart steady. Breathing slow. Anna looked stunned. I'll file for emergency guardianship," she said quietly. "You don't have to be involved." "You shouldn't be." Zoe nodded. "That would be best." And then came the final card. As we left, Zoe handed Anna one last envelope. Inside? Legal notice of a pending restraining order. Against my mother. Effective immediately. I left the hospital lighter. Not happy. Not satisfied. But free. Or so I thought. Until my phone rang. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, my blood ran cold. "You think you're so clever." Her voice. But different. Dead calm. "I see. You think you can humiliate me? Ruin me? You have no idea who you're dealing with. You're still that weak little boy. And I will remind you of that." Click. I stared at the phone for a long time. She wasn't done. Not by a long shot. But neither am I. Because what she doesn't know, what she forgot, is that I've been watching her longer than she's been watching me. There's more to her story. More to her money. More to the lies she's been telling the hospital, the state, and her own friends. And thanks to Zoe, I now have the keys to all of it. Next move's mine. Update 3. You all thought that last voicemail was the end? No. That was her opening move. I thought maybe she'd cool off. That the panic in the hospital was just a last-ditch play. But when you grow up in the shadow of a narcissist, you learn, when they lose control, they don't fall back. They escalate. The first sign? An envelope slid under my apartment door. No return address. Inside. A photo. Me walking to my car. From behind. Dated 2 days ago. And a note scrawled in jagged black ink. "I see you." I checked the hallway cams. Glitchy. Looping. Someone had tampered with the feed. I called Zoe. She was already 2 steps ahead. "I ran her records last night," Zoe said. "She's been hiding assets. Fake trusts. Offshore transfers. Names that don't match. There's money she didn't tell the hospital about." "How much?" I asked. "Enough to pay a PI to stalk you. Enough to buy influence if she plays it right. And here's the real kicker. The house my mother claimed was foreclosed. Still in her name. Transferred through a shell company. She never lost it. She lied. She was trying to bait me into signing POA, power of attorney, to legally tie me to her debts and assets. And if I had, every dirty cent would have become my problem. But now I had proof. I didn't go to the cops. Not yet. Cops could slow it down. I wanted to end it. I called Morris. Told him everything. He drove in that night. We met in my apartment, Zoe too. And together, we built the kill shot. We gathered everything. The fake trusts. The shell transfers. The fraudulent bankruptcy filings. The hidden house deed. The threats. The stalking. Zoe drafted a full report. Sent it straight to Adult Protective Services. The hospital legal team. The state fraud division. Her church. Oh yeah, forgot to mention she's been conning donations for years playing the poor dying mother act. The fallout was instant. First, the hospital froze her records. Guardianship hearing suspended. No more attempts to name me as proxy. Then APS flagged her for elder fraud. Turns out she'd been borrowing money from other patients in her support group, telling sob stories, collecting donations. Then the church found out. Public scandal. Full investigation. And then the real hammer. The state opened a fraud case. Tax evasion. Wire fraud. Financial abuse. I watched it all unfold like slow-motion dominoes. And when the final call came, from her, from a jail phone, I picked up. Just once. You did this to me, she hissed. No, I said, voice ice. You did this to yourself. I just stopped running. She screamed. One last, broken, pathetic scream. You owe me. You'll always owe me. Click. I hung up. Final epilogue. 6 weeks later, the court froze her remaining accounts. The house is being seized. She's facing multiple charges. Might see prison, might not. I don't care. I'm free. No more hiding. No more fear. No more porch. The stuffed rabbit? I finally burned it. One last funeral for the boy she tried to break. Morris and I are closer than ever. Zoe, well, let's just say there's more there than friendship these days. I'm not the scared kid anymore. I'm not her pawn. I'm the one who walked through fire and came out forged. For anyone out there trapped in a story like mine, you don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them peace. You don't owe them anything. Sometimes survival is the revenge. And if they ever come crawling, let them crawl. Just make sure they choke on the dirt. Edit 1. Did not expect this to blow up the way it did. First off, thank you for all the messages, DMs, and support. I've read through hundreds of them tonight and damn, you guys get it. Way more than I thought anyone would. And yes, it's 100% real. Names changed. A few minor dates blurred. But this is my life. A few common questions. Question: why didn't you go to the cops sooner? A. Because this wasn't about safety, it was about control. I needed to document everything first. If I jumped too fast, she would have twisted it. Claimed I was harassing her. Yeah? The paper trail is airtight. Question: how did she find you after 15 years? A. Through a PI. Morris brunch story gave away my city. Then she used social media breadcrumbs, apartment listings, local tags, even public property records. People don't realize how easy it is to stitch a trail when you're desperate enough. Question: did burning the rabbit feel good? A. No. It felt necessary. Not satisfying. Just final. It wasn't a toy anymore. It was a chain. Edit 2. For the people dmang about Zoe. Yeah. It's more than professional now. No, I didn't expect it. Honestly, after all this, I thought I'd be incapable of trusting anyone that deep again. But she's different. She saw all of it, and didn't flinch. First real date? Thai takeout on her floor after the court filings went through. She toasted with ginger ale and said, "Here's to burning the past." Edit 3. Question: what was the worst moment in all of this? At the photo under my door. Not because of fear, because of rage. That after everything, she still thought she could control me. Still saw me as a scared porch boy. It flipped something in me. No more running. Edit 4. Biggest twist? Ready? During the final court filings, Zoe uncovered one more trust account. Hidden offshore. Guess whose name was listed as contingent beneficiary? Mine. She wasn't just trying to reel me in for the hospital. She was setting me up to inherit her dirty money, to make me legally tangled in her financial web after she died. Yeah. She planned to own me from the grave. Guess what? We froze that too. Edit 5. Will I ever contact her again? No. Not if she lives another year. Not if she dies tomorrow. If the state needs me for testimony, I'll do it. Cold. Professional. But personal contact? Dead to me. Edit 6. Morris and I are thinking of visiting the old farmhouse next month. Just to stand on that porch one last time. Not for closure. Just as proof that we're not things anymore. Edit 7. Final edit for now. If you take anything from this story, let it be this. You are not obligated to keep the chains they gave you. Walk away. Burn them. And if they come crawling, watch them from above.